You're about to enjoy a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the SheEO Lead-In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of SheEO. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. Today we are here with Denise Scatena. Denise Scatena and Arika Daniels, founding partners of Scatena Daniels. So ladies, welcome and thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you, Rebecca.
So tell me a little bit about what a day looks like in your career.
I'll let you go first.
Sure. We're in the PR marketing world, so nothing's ever the same. We try to do a lot of balancing between like having a home life because we work from home too and we have children, but we also, work with a lot of nonprofits. It's somewhat demanding, so multiple calls, emails, writing assignments. It's just nonstop.
And I think also to throw in is that we also have to stay on top of our skills because marketing and communications, it's evolved so quickly.
We don't want to age out at 45.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And I think it's really evolved even in the last year.
Oh,
yes.
For sure.
I think a pandemic has brought out great things, but also, a lot of hostility and just all of these things that maybe we've never even thought about. And so I think there's been a lot of, I hate to overuse the word pivoting, but I would say definitely evolving is more
it was
accurate.
interesting during the pandemic because, working with nonprofits, we were in more demand than ever because we like to say it was their it
was
Super
our time
Bowl.
to shine.
It was their Super Bowl. They're out there getting meals to people, paying bills for people who couldn't afford their bills. And
giving out vaccinations.
Yeah, we were on crisis comms 6 to 8 weeks straight with 10-hour calls. 10 hours of calls every single day, and our whole team did phenomenal. We were also doing the census during that time. We were supporting the census, which was really exciting. And Denise got PR Professional of the Year in 2020 with PRSA for all the work that she did and our team did for the census. So it was a super demanding year, and we did see a lot of change and pivoting when it came to how people are communicating.
Right. And we were at the forefront with our media colleagues, and we work with the media every single day. And I think that while they had to change their news gathering process, we had to set the expectations with our clients, and also we were all in it together. So it was a very interesting time. At that point, we, as she alluded to, last year was our busiest year ever. But I think we were able to do that from home because of all these advancements in technology and also meeting people with where they were at to get the job done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit about your childhood. Everyone, let's just break the ice here.
Yeah.
So
how deep do you want to go?
Just maybe a fun little snippet of a story that, just kind of people might not know about you.
Well,
Arika.
we're both only children.
We're both only children.
That's interesting.
It's interesting how we ended up together.
So let's just even talk about that. How long have you been friends and how long have you been working together?
So we met, we're going to our 12th year.
We've
known each other probably about 13 years. And we are on the Public Relations Society of America's San Diego chapter board. So we would work on things together, and we'd sit across the table from each other and roll our eyes together. We're like, this is not efficient. And then we were independent practitioners at that time. We started going after bids on or RFPs, and they just didn't think that we could handle the project as one person. So we combined forces.
Oh, so you were thrown together and then you went, hey, this kind of works.
Yep.
Yeah, but we dated for a while. We dated for like 10 months.
In business. For a
where
while.
we just kind of shared projects. Then we moved into the same, back when we had office space, we had offices across the hall from each other that we rented. And that was when we got engaged.
Yep.
And then when we signed our LLC, we got married. Yeah.
Was it like New Year's Eve or something?
It was like New Year's Eve.
We had to get it done before the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so we're both only children, but I think we also both grew up with an entrepreneurial mindset too. You know, and I think that I didn't realize it at the time, but I think that drives my passion for what I do as being an entrepreneur. Grandparents owned ice cream shops and ran apartment buildings at the same time they were civil servants. I know.
Wow.
And raising, you know, one of my grandparents raised 10 kids at the same time. So, and living in San Diego. So I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, I'm like, gosh, we do work in the social justice nonprofit space. We're both entrepreneurs. I like to joke that this is the longest job I've ever had. And I've been doing this for 25 years, but this is the longest position I've ever had.
Longest.
Yeah,
like very long.
Very long. And growing up with that entrepreneurial mindset while giving back to the community. That's, I think, what drives me.
Yeah. And I mean, it's very similarly, like my dad's whole side of the family was in politics, and they were public servants. And my dad's always been an entrepreneur, and my mother's never worked for anybody else but herself. So it's just, I guess I just never knew it any other way, except that my dad always would yell at me to get a government job. He still yells at me to this day, get a government job, but you're doing okay.
That's funny. So one word that expresses who you are. Denise, you first. What do you think?
Passionate, I think, yeah.
All right. Arika?
That's super hard. That's really hard. I don't know. I think I'm pretty loyal. I'm a loyal person. I'm a loudmouth too. I'm going to give you 2. That's what makes me a good communicator. So,
well,
yeah.
A good communicator is really important in what you're doing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you kind of hit it on the nail on the head there. So, I'm sure that you work with a lot of men. You guys are quite the duo, I might say. A lot of energy, really passionate. I think passionate really exemplifies both of you. So do you ever run into a situation where men are feeling a little overwhelmed because you're 2 very strong women?
I mean, I'm sure, but we have to face a lot of like old boys club stuff with PR, because there's a lot of established agencies in town that maybe even the old boys aren't there anymore, but they have the name of the old boys, and so we come across that a lot. I think it's kind of breaking down.
I think it's
the last 5 years or so.
Yes, and what I've noticed is that now those who are sitting in those decision maker roles are now more of our contemporaries. We've grown up professionally with them. Same thing on the news and media side.
Yeah.
We all started our careers together at the same time, and you know, reporters move around and from cities to cities, so we know how to make those connections. But for the most part, there are some folks that we have had relationships with for 20 years, and we're all still working in the town. We're all still kind of in it together. But yes, I mean, I can see there's still those establishments, but I think that we are breaking barriers, relating, you know, and showing,
tapping into things that are important that maybe some of these established agencies don't look at anymore as deeply, especially from a community level.
Yep.
Well, I think your longevity too has kind of brought you through that. So the evolution that's happened has really grown up, as you said, Denise.
I mean, another interesting topic on that is, we always chat as an agency with our director and whatnot, is if we want to talk about men and talking with men as a CEO, a SheEO, it's the money conversation. That's always hard because men go for, the jugular. Like, they'll try to get you down. And as women, we always, we want to be nurturers, so we've really had to like battle that as women to like really hold firm on our pricing and not feel bad for the nonprofits, because we have value too, right?
That in the contracts.
Contracts are tough too, yeah. So when it comes to contracts, just the whole money conversation, that's a challenge.
So which of you is better at that?
I think we ping pong well together because Denise is very detailed. I'm more of like a let's get her done type of girl. So I think we ping pong on it a bit. I always say, like, I have glasses like Denise wears too, and I have to wear my glasses because it makes me look more serious. When I go into those meetings, I pull out my glasses.
And then I see it on the screen, I'm like, oh, this is going to get serious. She's got her glasses on.
So you both are moms, right?
Yes.
And so tell me, how do you balance everything?
There's no secret sauce to balancing. You just do it. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. I have 3 kids, 10 and under, and it's just gnarly all the time. I mean, it gets better every year, but it's just, there's people ask you that all the time. There's no answer. You just do the best you can.
Well, in sports and extracurricular activities.
I think the most important part of being a mom and juggling all that and owning a business or even working outside of the home or working for someone else is like you have to find time for yourself. Like, carve out an hour for yourself a day, whether that's taking a bubble bath or going on a walk. You've got to find time for yourself.
Yeah. Well, otherwise you go crazy. Right?
I know.
Yeah. Well, but I also think that the pandemic and all of us having to retreat into our homes and time shift really played at that advantage, even though it's a very stressful time. My girls are 11, turning 12, but they seem like they're turning 17 with some of the conversations we have. But I think that the pandemic and working from home and working in a remote environment has leveled the playing field for parents a bit, and also has made employers, those traditional employers, take notice that work can be done in a time shifted fashion, just as long as you communicate. And that's one of the things that I always tell our team. It's like, raise your hand. Don't die by silence. Let me know when you're having a challenge. And I think that that's true in any sort of work environment. And just be an open communicator.
Yeah, we went virtual before the pandemic, a year before.
Yeah.
So we like to say we're pandemic progressive. But yeah, so our team really already had a nice handle on working remote.
I think our clients were jealous.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
We don't ever have to go back to an office.
So do you not have an office? Or
no, we gave it up in 2018.
Wow.
All of our team are moms for the most part. And so, we started going to these conferences and talking with other agencies, and all of them were doing the virtual thing. And we're like, why are we paying overhead? We can give our team an extra hour at least every day to like spend with their kids, go to the grocery store, make their lives easier. If they don't have to dress up for meetings, they don't have to dress up for the office. You know what I mean? So it just made sense to us. And it took a few months to work out the kinks. It was hard for the team because we're so used to being in an office together. But it really, after we got through the kinks, it's become really easy.
Well, I think it's even more than that because you don't have the stress of actually being on the road or trying to get to work on time and getting out the door. I think is really hard when you have little ones and trying to get everyone to school and all of that. So, do you take your kids to school? And you mentioned, Denise, so are they twin girls?
They're twin girls.
Oh gosh,
you know, and that's one of the reasons why we started our business. My girls were coming. And they were born right before we signed the papers to the
married.
LLC and all that stuff. And so they've been around for the journey, ever since the inception
And
of
I
our
started
business.
a year
And she
later.
started a year later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
my girls are twins. So it's been very interesting. The pandemic has actually brought them more closer together. They're better friends. They started middle school in person this year, and it's just been great to kind of watch them blossom. And I think they overheard a lot of our calls, you know, as they tend to do when you're working at home and schooling at home.
Right.
And what they shared with me is one of them, you know, wants to change her career to be more of a social justice advocate, which is what we do a lot with our clients, is helping them amplify their stories so that they can get their points across. And we'll see if she comes into that, but it's been interesting. So.
Well, I think that we can learn a lot just listening.
Yeah, just listening and
Yeah,
absorbing.
just
Mhm.
listening. And, you know, so I always expose my kids to all of the things that I was doing. So running a business and then going into government, which are pretty different. But a lot of, you know, valuable lessons and just conversations that are happening. Okay, so lessons learned that you would share with young women that maybe they could apply to their life and careers. What do you have any thoughts on that?
I think one of the things that I always share is learning how to manage up, you know, and what managing up is that, you know, looking at what a good manager, those traits of a good manager to help bring out the best in you as an employee. So, you know, by managing up, you make your boss's job easier as well as your own day-to-day job. You know, one way to do this is by suggesting solutions. Don't just bring the problems, you know, to the group or to your boss. You know, show that you're thinking critically. Now that doesn't mean go off and make your own decision. It means, hey, I've noticed an issue. Here are some solutions. And we've, you know, raising your hand and saying, we got to get this done because, you know, and being timely about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I already shared one of them was finding time for yourself as a woman. But, you know, again, I come from an entrepreneur background, and my dad always told me, you know, you might not be the smartest, but you can outwork anybody. So I found that just like working hard and like setting your mind to something can really push you forward. Now that kind of backfired with me during the pandemic because I burned out. But so there's got to be a nice balance there of working hard and then finding time for yourself and your family and letting your mental health breathe.
And at some point, you know, we fail, right? We all fail at some point in time. How do you figure out how to, you know, move away from that and go, okay, that hurt, but so do you have any nuggets on that failure and maybe how
we
you
don't ever fail, Rebecca?
We don't know anything about
We don't know about
Wait, do we call it a trip? Do we just say we tripped?
We know about pivoting. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've just always been one just to dust myself up and keep going. Like, if we take a hit, I don't really sit on it too long. We've got other things to deal with. I know Denise can get down a little more than and I'm always like, girl, we got more things.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a let's get her done, keep moving type of girl.
I think, I just stop and take a breath, you know, but I also try to find, without trying to obsess too much, trying to think about lessons learned. So one example happened to us a couple weeks ago, and it was, you know, we had to write it. So it had to do with something about getting something approved. And we were in the middle of trying to get an op-ed pushed through and placed in a publication. And the editor came back and said, I'm fact checking this. Can you know, I really need this now. So anyway, we wanted to make sure that we were serving the reporter and we were serving our client. And so, you know, there was a little bit of a misstep. It got placed, but it didn't occur in a timely manner. And so what we did is we said, okay, let's talk about this as a team. What can we do next time to improve this? But how can we set client expectations as well? Because we need to educate them through the process so that collectively, between the client, ourselves, and the media outlet, that we're all successful. And so maybe looking at it from, hey, how can we all be successful at this versus, oh my gosh, I just tripped and failed.
Yeah.
So I think it's that perspective.
We've also learned, though, that when one door closes, 3 more open.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
there's that.
Totally.
Only
yeah.
3?
Always 3.
Always 3.
Always 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even more than that. Sometimes you go, wow, I can't believe how that actually worked out.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, dealing with, such a dynamic time as a pandemic,
Yeah.
definitely, I think you were well prepared, being that you were already, with the at home, always already Zooming and all of that. So you didn't really have to change too much. You really just had to deal with the actual pandemic. And that was a little less, stress, I would say,
Yes.
probably overall.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're very passionate about what you do. What are you most passionate about your jobs or your careers?
So, at Scatena Daniels, we work with nonprofits and corporate companies that do good in the community. And that really, brings passion to me. When I went and started my business, I shared with Denise, and she agreed. And that's why we worked out so well, is that we wanted to support organizations. We didn't want to just pitch shoelaces. We wanted to do something that created impact.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, the seniors that get their free meals every day, or it's the Wi-Fi that Cox Communications, gives out at a discount to low-income families to help bridge that digital divide.
Mm-hmm.
It's those things that are really lifting up our communities, and that's really what brings joy to me in our job.
Right. And I think for myself, being a part of this social change, so not only amplifying the stories and the initiatives of our clients and their partners, but also supporting and fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion in media, communications, and philanthropy. That struck a chord with me many, many, many years ago, but now we're in a position where we've worked hard. We work with really great organizations, and we're in a position to really help affect that change. It's so important now more than ever to provide those opportunities or create those opportunities so that these organizations who represent the community can really be their authentic selves and also share their stories in an authentic manner. So we're very committed in that aspect to help our clients think a little bit broader. Let's not just get the job done, but let's do it in a way that's authentic and builds representation in the communities that you serve.
Well, that's interesting because I don't think people would even think that actually walking into a PR firm.
Yeah.
I mean, overall. And I think now too, it's focusing on things that make you feel good on the inside is probably something that's really drives you because you're passionate about it and wanting to do good and, getting to the point in your careers where you can actually pick and choose and focus on more things that are, that are gratifying to you, that really fill you.
Yes.
I think and I think women, I don't want to be sexist because I'm not, but I think women really think more about those sorts of initiatives.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't know, we really are thinkers, and we look at the bigger picture. I always look at the big picture.
Yeah.
I feel like that is something that's unique to women. So you walk into a room, each one of you, I want to hear your answer on this. You walk into a room, there are young women, and you have advice for them. And what would that be? Because they want to become leaders. What would your advice be to them? How about you first, Arika?
I just want to say, this is something my mother taught me a very long time ago, and it's not specifically to business, it's life. Just trust your gut. If you feel something's wrong, don't go down that path, and that can be applied to business in all aspects.
Well, I think it should be, definitely, because you do kind of know.
Yeah, trust your gut.
Oh, this is a little uncomfortable.
If you're working with a client and you get a weird vibe, cut them. Like, no more.
Right.
They're not going to pay you.
Denise, what about you?
You know, I say this to our team. I say this to my kids. You know, the only constant in life is change.
Yeah.
You know, and so in the last 18, 20 months have really proven this to us. And you need to learn to roll with it and not get bogged down by it, or, you know, have that carry that heavy weight on your shoulder. You know, roll with it, adapt, and figure it out. And I think the other piece, you know, expanding on what I talked about earlier, is don't be afraid to ask for help or to communicate that you're having a challenge, because you may find out that someone can either help you move forward and you're not alone. So being, you know, just being open to sharing your story, and sharing what your challenges are. You can relate to, you may find that someone else is having that same challenge. You can figure it out together.
Well, and I think too, you know, looking at a pandemic, it was very challenging for a lot of people, but people that were ingrained in not having change, really just saying, whoa, what's going on? I think those people have really, really struggled. And not only
struggled because I was an extrovert. So that was really challenging. She's more of an introvert, so she loved the pandemic. And I was like, and my husband works at a hospital. He's an MRI tech, so he was going out scanning COVID patients, like all these things. And I'm home dealing with 3 kids by myself and a busy business and no husband to rely on, you know, with the homeschooling.
Right.
So it was, for me, I had no outlet for many people to like hang with. So it was very challenging for me.
Yeah.
I'm an extrovert too. So I was like, and then I felt like Zoom was so foreign to me. But I mean, you guys at least you were doing it a year in advance. So it was kind of, it wasn't as much of an implosion of, oh my gosh, my world is totally changed.
Yeah.
For me, I was thinking, oh my gosh, how many more Zooms can I possibly do?
I think that sometimes.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Well, and you know, that's part of. Do you guys have any in-person meetings at all? Or?
Not right now. For the most part, we'll have client events.
Okay.
Where we have to go and manage like media, sometimes in studio now, or there'll be like a big event and we're inviting media out, but maybe some networking things here or there, but. No client face-to-faces.
But I think that's really attributed positively with our team, because we know how to juggle. We know, you know, balance is such a tricky word, but we know how to juggle. We're just very open communicators, and I think that runs through our culture. So anyone who, you know, we hire, which we're hiring right now.
We need people.
We need people. Yeah. You know, we expect that from them, and it makes things a lot easier.
And also, it's not that we don't want to, I want to see our clients in person, but the pandemic changed that.
Yeah.
Like our clients realize that they can do an hour meeting over the phone with us and get just as much done, and then they'll save on our commute time. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So there's going to have to be like a hybrid approach once things get back to normal.
And I don't even want to say the new normal because I hate that.
I know.
But again, I mean, back to what Denise said. The change, life is change.
Yeah.
That is the real only constant thing that we always can look forward to. There's going to be something that's going to change because things can't stay exactly the same. But again, you know, having these, you know, these virtual meetings, being more productive, I think is good. Yeah. As long as you can actually make sure that it's actually happening.
Yeah, but I think there lacks that like personal connection.
True.
You know, I think that's where there needs to be a hybrid approach once people feel more safe about things, because you really do connect more in person. You know, Zoom is just business. It's just business.
Well, there's more chemistry. I think.
Yeah.
Just having that face to face, the facial expressions
the
look different.
Like you just like, the vibes are better.
Definitely. There's that show. You just reminded me of it, where you meet someone, you never see their face, and then you decide if you're going to get married. I forget what it's called.
Married at First Sight.
Oh yeah, Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
So just it's not the same.
No.
It really isn't the same. There definitely is that personal connection and that intimacy, as you mentioned, and that with you two, it was the whole business marriage sort of thing. But I think have you gotten a lot of new business during the pandemic?
Gosh, yeah.
Where you've never actually met anyone?
Yes.
Because I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've never
the
seen
Humane
them.
Society was that way.
Well, actually, we met with them before the pandemic.
Yes,
and
but the
then-
team that we work with, we didn't meet them for almost a full year.
Yeah.
Oh
in
my
person.
goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
We never even toured the Humane Society.
And then
until
we were promoting them and helping them. But yes, it's very busy.
Meals
right
on
now.
Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we knew the CEO, but like our contact, we never we never met.
Yeah.
So did you feel
clients.
like it was different when you met face to face, or?
Well,
How does
Yeah,
that-
I mean, you still don't really know the person,
Right.
You do
Yeah.
and you don't, and
Yeah.
so it's a little different, but
no, we have had a lot of inquiries for new business, and I think it's because we're able to kind of transcend that Zoom screen.
yeah.
And I try really hard to make that connection and be a good active listener to them, because often folks, when they call us, there's a problem. They have a pain point. They just need someone to listen to them as a peer business owner, and then we can figure out if we can help them personally or professionally, or we need to refer them out to someone else that might be a better fit. But I always try to kind of reach through that screen and try to let them know that they're not alone, and that they where they're at right now, it's a temporary thing, and they've done the right things to get to this point. I had a conversation like that just this last week. She had surrounded herself with some good advisors, volunteer wise, as well as vendors, and to get her to the point to be able to connect with us and see if it was a good fit. And she had been doing all this on her own during the pandemic. Like, just, you have to give them kudos for getting that far.
Well, that's creating that connection, even though it's through a screen.
Yeah.
So what's next for you two? The laugh.
We're growing.
We're growing.
Yeah, so we just hired another employee, and we have another job opening. And I think our pipeline's very full.
Right.
So,
But what you're talking about, what's next? We had focused our careers here in just working with San Diego organizations, San Diego County organizations. We have branched out in the last 18 months, 12 to 18 months, working with more regional organizations that are not based in San Diego County, and then also some national, and also working with national media, which I never thought we would ever kind of get there. And
especially working with such community-based organizations.
Right, but we've been able to figure out how to not only establish them here locally, because everyone calls us and they say we're the best hidden kept secret in town. And I hear that all the time. I'm like, I must know a lot of secrets. And so we help them get established in San Diego, and then we say, okay, what's next? Like, let's dream big. Let's be aspirational. It is very hard when you're sitting in your home office, all of us are, and just feeling isolated and not understanding what could be next. And so we try to bring that to every project. The budget may not support it, or the human resources on their side may not support it, but we're always trying to be aspirational. So what's next, I feel, is helping San Diego and Southern California organizations get more established on the national level, whether that's through trade and industry media, which is read by many, many people, or on that national stage, whether it's C-SPAN or MSNBC, which we have started to do that with our clients. So
exciting.
It is exciting, and we have the team in place to do that. And I think, again, this is the longest job I've ever had.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to see, take it to the next level.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
Thanks
much for joining
us. Yeah.
You two are quite the powerful
Thank you.
duo. Really excited to hear all about your partnership and your business marriage.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, ladies.
Thank you. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with SheEO host, Rebecca Jones.
You have been listening to a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands. Find more stories at cloudcast.us.